What's up, guys? Happy Saturday. Uh, Thought I'd do a quick little garage update for the 5 of you guys that watch my stuff. I did just get a new boat today. Got this bad little girl right here and just picked her up. It was on sale. One of my subscribers, shout out to, I think it's OG Paperboy, but he basically just pointed out that this thing was on sale for a really good price. I think it was $330. And so, yeah, so it's a discontinued boat. And usually when you can get a discontinued Proboat for like a sale like that, usually a pretty good buy, because usually someone will pick it up, right? Like even if I ran this thing for 6 months, someone's going to pay $300 for it. So it's a good buy, and I've already got quite a few things. I should say this is probably my fourth or fifth one of these that I've had. And so I've never really kept them around long term. It's kind of a finicky boat. They actually are really good. And I'm not going to do like a full unboxing and stuff, because that's not what YouTube needs, is more unboxings. But anyway, so it's a little finicky. They're really good in a straight line. They have this really weird tendency to kind of roll at slow speeds, and I'm not gonna lie, it's actually downright obnoxious and annoying, because you'll be trying to turn slow and the whole thing will just barrel roll on itself, and it kind of kills the experience, because no one likes to have to recover a boat. And so I've never really kept them around long term. I'll run them, set some speeds. The best I've ever done with one of these was 80 miles an hour. And so I'm kind of up for a challenge. Honestly, it's a discontinued boat, and I should tell you guys, this boat kind of has a special place in my heart, because this was the first boat that got me back into RC boats after not being into them for like years. This was my first fiberglass boat coming back into the hobby. And so, yeah, I think it's honestly a really good looking boat, like one of the best looking boats ready to runs out there. So I will tell you guys, I already laid this thing down on the counter, and I don't know a nice way to say this, but the bottom it's twisted like a pretzel. It's got so much rock in it, you guys, and it's not just uneven, but it's like kind of twisted, like the steps are at different angles, and it's rough. And so I think it'll run fine. I just think that, these ready to run Pro boats, they need a lot of love when it comes to the ride surfaces. So that's something that will probably need to be tackled at some point. No rush. This rudder, I don't know if you guys can see this. This has more slop left to right, side to side, up, and this is the most slop I think I've ever seen on a servo ever. So this is trash, obviously. Plastic geared servo, not a big deal. So got an Amazon special, $13 red servo. That's going to fix that. This boat, the weird turning thing it does, it happens when it's turning. And so first thing I want to address is the servo, because if there is any slop, like all of this slop, when you've got a turning issue, it's magnified when you have a servo that you can't count on, right? If you can't trust the servo to do its job and hold a line in a turn, then you're just chasing your tail. So that's an easy fix. It's a $13 fix. Already got it. It's going to be here tomorrow. So get the servo done. Get a metal horn on. The servo comes with that. And then I'll probably tighten up this bushing, whatever I have to do back here to fix that. So $300 boat, by the way. Killer value. Just the motor and ESC and the radio alone. This is a great prop. This is a 1716 copy of sorts. Great prop. It's stainless, sharpened up. Killer prop. Great hardware on the boat. I loosened this up trying to get a feel for it on the counter. It came with the strut kind of below the ride pads. So not a great strut adjustment out of the box. You guys should definitely check that out. So aside from a ton of crazy slop, on my previous Veles boats, I did cut the rudder down, shortened it up, and that made it less likely to want to roll in the turns. So that's a must. I might order a dual pickup from OSC just because one cooling line is not enough. And if you guys don't know, do not run this prop on 6S with the stock electronics. It's in the manual, but everyone does it and everyone burns it up. And so you'll want to prop down if you're going to use 6S. This prop is really made for 4S or 5S, which no one runs. So let's just call it 4S. And so great prop if you sharpen it up, but don't do that because otherwise you're going to blow all your stuff up. So good hardware, good value for money, $300 for a ready-to-run boat with free shipping. You're not going to get that anywhere these days. So I will shorten this up. I might get away with a single pickup. I might just keep that. And then for a second pickup, I might even show you guys how to do just a through hole. Just do a through hole for the other side. So yeah, so this needs to be shortened, right? I think that is going to help with the weird roll. The other thing is prop being too deep in the water. It seems to kind of be like a torque roll thing. So raising that strut up, right? Which means I might even go to like a medium lift prop, like an Octura, because if you watch when it does that, the back end sinks into the water and it's tripping over this back. You see how this back is angled in? It's got a weird, I'm not going to flip it. It's got a weird angle in the back. And so I think running the strut slightly above the ride pads and then even a medium lift, not like a full lift prop, but like a M series Octura, I think will help that a lot. Other thing, it does have a flat bottom strut. Great for speed runs, acts as kind of a wheelie bar, an extra ride surface, but not something you see often on single motor catamarans. Never, actually, really. And so the weird tripping thing that it does, how it trips over itself, having this flat, blunt edge that's square cannot possibly be helping that. Right now you've got something that's going to catch the water and it's not going to let it slide. It's going to grab and roll. And so I want to change this out for a blackjack strut. OSC sells them. I hope it's a perfect fit. It should be. But shorter rudder, definitely have smooth edges on this so it's not catching in turns. And if I can get this boat to not do anything as weird in the turns, this thing is a missile in the straights. 80 miles an hour, completely effortless. Never even blew the thing off when I was running it at those speeds before. And so, yeah, probably a dual pickup, most likely going to be needed. Shorter rudder. Get yourself a real servo. It's like $13. Don't deal with this plastic, floppy. It's just a headache, right? And whatever this is, tighten that up. Sharpen and balance the prop. Do not run it on 6S with this prop. These motors are very stout. Guys that race P Limited love these things, the little 3831s. So I'm actually going to pull mine out before I even run it and sell the thing. I got a buddy who likes them, or just sell it, anywhere. I'm also pulling the ESC out. You can get more money for this stuff if it's not used and recoup a lot of your costs if you're not going to use it, right? Like if you know you're going to be replacing this stuff, don't go run it and then sell it used, right? Just sell it brand new, sell it right out of the boat. I've got a spare motor that I can throw in here, longer 3682 can. These are for a different boat, but I do have a 150 I could throw in, or a Castle X8S somewhere. I don't need to show you guys. It doesn't matter. It's in there. It's an X8S, and it'd be perfect on this boat for some more power. So, yeah, this is the boat. Very cool boat. Very fast boat. If you want to go 70 or 80, this is probably the least expensive way to do it. Stock motor is a beast. if this prop is sharpened and balanced, it would probably do 65, 70 miles an hour out of the box. And that would be for speed run, obviously, because you don't want to run laps with this small motor and 120. You don't want to run laps at 65, 70 miles an hour. You're just going to overheat everything. So first things first, swap the servo, going to cut the rudder, figure out the strut. I really need to figure out something with the bottom, you guys, because this thing, I'll be honest, it rocks way more than it should. It rocks as much as like a 36-inch Geico does, which is not saying much. That's actually horrible, you guys. So, and it rocks as much as like a 36-inch, but it's smaller. So yeah, this thing's like probably 1 to 2 millimeter gap where it's just teetering. And when you teeter it, you know, then the middle ones, then they're all at different angles, and it's not ideal. You can see how this comes in on the back. I don't think this was originally designed this way, and I think that's why it trips on itself turning. And obviously not much I can do about that. That's just part of the design. But very, very fast hull. It's an efficient hull. This just needs to be tightened up. I might need to clamp this down, like take some vice grips and squeeze this a bit. But nice hardware otherwise. Nice prop. These props are like 20 or 30 bucks. You could sell that if you really wanted to and not use it. And the hull itself, layup is very solid. This is obviously the end of the production run. This is a discontinued hull now. So it does have seam reinforcement up the sides that seems super stout. You know, I might add a brace. I might add a rear motor brace at some point. But otherwise, I mean, no one, let's be honest, you guys, no one really makes cool, ready-to-run boats these days. And I know people get sick of my ready-to-run boats, but I just have a soft spot for them. There's something exciting about opening a package and getting something that's painted with hatch bolts and a ready-to-run. I mean, what can you honestly buy today for 300 bucks, right? Like, not a lot, right? Not a lot. Like a bare hull, you know, plus $60 in shipping, and then you got to do everything. So I kind of like having a ready-to-run boat and then modifying it, and it gives you a nice baseline, right? Versus just building it from scratch. So kind of a cool deal. If you can get them on sale before they're all gone, might not be a bad idea. But either way, boat's normally like 450 bucks. I think that's what it is now. It went on sale for $330. I'm going to try and recoup some costs. I'm going to sell what I can. I'm going to cut that rudder down and servo replace that and run it. I'm just going to send the thing. You know, I don't think you have to go crazy with it, but I do need to get rid of that low speed thing. So shortening this will help. And then I think if I could keep the ass end up, just enough lift in the back so that it's not sinking and then rolling, you know, just so that this edge isn't rolling itself. Maybe some lift, maybe push this up. You know, the strut's deep right now. The strut's in line with the ride pads or slightly deeper. And the problem is if you try and raise it, now you're changing the angle, right? So now you push this up, now you're adding a bunch of positive angle, which is not what you want. I mean, look, if you want to raise this strut up 2 millimeters, for example, or 4 millimeters above the ride surface to run an Octura prop, you're probably going to need to redo the stuffing tube bend, because the way that this tube is bent, it's really only going to work at this angle. And you can see as soon as you try to move it up, you're now adding positive trim, which is not cool. I mean, look at that, right? This isn't even the right size, you know, because this has a Teflon liner and a smaller cable. You know, you want to rip that Teflon liner out and run a 0.187 cable. So, yeah, so I'll probably just redo that. And, you know, down the rabbit hole I go. But you guys tell me, I don't see flat bottom struts on, you know, I see these on hydros. My hydros have it. I don't see it on catamarans. And this blunt edge, when the boat's starting to slide and turn like this, I just imagine that catching water. And if you have one of these, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's kind of what they're known for. But yeah, if we can dial that out, I want to get some big speeds out of this. I'd love to do 80 plus. I'd love to beat what I did last time. And that shouldn't be a problem. I think 90 would be pretty badass. And then I think if I can just get it turning, you know, it's a beautiful boat. It's a beautiful green. The graphics are sick. I'm going to pour the tips with chopped carbon fiber and resin. That's easy. Free strength. Nice lid. Beautiful layup. Beautiful layup. Beautiful paint job. And it's just not something you get usually when you build your own. And so, yeah, it's a trade-off. It's not perfect. It's going to need some work. But it does have a nice paint job and a nice packaging to it. So if you can get one of these, definitely consider it. But yeah, if you guys are interested in watching this build progress, I'm going to throw the servo in. I've already kind of told you guys where I'm heading with this and kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going to take these out right now. I'm going to take the servo out. Little bummed about the blueprint, you guys. Little bummed that it's going to take that much work. But I think, you know, you don't always have to use like filler. I might actually cut like plates of G10. Like it's bad enough that I could use like a 1mm plate of G10, like epoxied on, to help level it. So yeah, I think that's probably enough for today. Just want to show you guys brand new boat to the channel. Again, for the 5 of you guys that watch my stuff, I appreciate you guys. And if there's anything you want to see, let me know, because I kind of just took on this new project that I really didn't need a project. I really wasn't looking for a project, but I got one now. So let's have some fun with it. Let's see. I know Big B over at Ironclad RC did 95 miles an hour with a 4074 and a 150 and a Raider 150, which is like nothing. That's like cheapo Walmart electronics, you know? So it's a fast boat. It's a very fast boat. But if you guys have found anything that gets rid of that low speed flipping, let me know. But I can tell you a very long rudder is making it trip. A square strut is not helping. If the strut's too deep, that's not helping. If you go too slow, the ass end is going to sink. This is a low lift ABC style prop. It's low lift. And also, these boats don't like small ponds. They hate small ponds. They hate hairpin turns. They hate going slow. You need a big body of water, and you need to run this thing like you stole it. And that's when this boat is happy. If you actually push this thing hard, you dial in your steering and the end points so that you're not hook turning and oversteering, this boat, and I hope to show you guys this, is a little monster. It's a little green monster. But if you got a small pond like I used to, and you do little hairpin turns and you slow way down, you're gonna be kind of pissed at that flip. So we're gonna work on that, see what we can do. Let me know what you guys want to see. Have a great weekend. Peace.